watchers have observed. The council has convened. The gathering of geeks converges, and they're set to discuss everything happening in the geekdom.
Tank locked, loaded.
The Geek Patrol is on Geek Tank Radio.
Welcome, everybody. We are the Geek Patrol, and I'm not going to talk about what our mics can do. We are brought to you this season by the Jean Loring Couples Counseling. Want to get your ex back? She's got the perfect tragedy to help you do it.
Oh, my God.
What? Hey, I will take money from anybody who brings it to me.
That is so awful. Why does Andy look like somebody just hit him with a snowblower?
Oh. R.I.P. Sue Dibney.
Wow.
Okay, I'll admit it. I was reading Identity Crisis the other day after watching the end of Crisis on Infinite Earths on CW. So I had to hit all my crises. So it's fresh.
If no one knows where this sponsor came from, read Identity Crisis from DC. It's probably 10 or 15 years old.
Yeah, Brad Metzler and
Brad
Michael
Meltzer
Turner, wasn't it?
And no, it's Morales.
Rags Morales did the interior, but Turner did.
Michael Turner did all the covers.
He did all the covers. That was one of the last things he did.
He did before he passed away. Yeah, Just read the book.
It strikes close to home.
Sorry, guys. Okay. I don't know. It's dark days, man. We're going to talk about some crazy new apps that we've got to worry about.
Oh my God.
Andy, of course, is going to give us the lowdown on the new Dragonball game, which I hear is amazing.
Yes.
And Alan's got science. We don't ask Alan about his science. That's a Joe thing. And right now, it's just me, Andy, and Alan bringing you this season of Geek Tank Radio.
The Geek Tank is locked and loaded. What's happening in the world of science?
All right. Let's talk about the United States 100th birthday.
That happened.
That happened a long time ago.
It did. A Centennial World Exposition was held in Philadelphia. And from around the globe, countries came to showcase their cultural, their architectural, and their agricultural significance.
Okay. Wait.
And you are wondering why I brought this up.
Yes, very much.
All right, I brought this up because, it's almost spring. And in the South, that is an auspicious time of year.
Well, that's also because of the fact that in the spring, in the South, spring starts February 3rd.
Spring can start in like the next couple of weeks.
And then it's over on February 9th.
Spring makes it, till a while.
Well, I mean, actually, our spring doesn't start usually until about April?
No, we usually get some really good spring-type days in the beginning of February. Then it gets cold again, and then it jumps into summer.
Yeah. That's about right.
Something else happens every time the weather changes in the South.
I die.
Well, I know you don't like it, but...
Mosquitoes.
Japanese officials at our centennial brought us a cute little exotic vine that lived in the mountainous regions of Japan.
Those
and
sons
it
of
was cute, and it was fast growing and created thick shade.
Mm-hmm.
And then somewhere around 1883.
Yeah, I was going to say, are we jumping from to the...
Yeah, we're going to come forward a little bit.
Yeah.
At the New Orleans Exposition.
They did it again.
Now people were buying it and putting it... Can you imagine buying this?
Oh, my God.
And putting it on your porch so it would, cover your atriums and grow up onto your pergolas.
Those of you who watch horror movies, when you come across those cabins and plantation estates in the woods that are completely overgrown, this is the reason why they're overgrown.
Well, and government agencies, including the Civilian Conservation Corps and the Department of Agriculture, encouraged people to plant this, especially on hills and open areas, so it would control erosion.
We were so dumb.
By the end of World War II, over 3 million acres of the U.S. was covered in kudzu.
Yep.
For anyone out there who doesn't know what kudzu is,
you are lucky, but we're not going to tell you because you deserve to witness it firsthand.
Look it up on YouTube or Google it or something.
Never
It
fall
is-
asleep on it.
There are amazing.
Never.
There,
You will wake
there-
up in case.
There are amazing videos you can find of it growing and
Like, yeah,
encroaching
like-
on
yeah,
areas.
like
And you
time-lapse
think-
videos of-
Well, that's the thing. You think they're time lapse, and when you think time lapse, you're thinking over a period of years or months and years. No, this is hours.
It's hours. The stuff grows.
The fastest
absurdly
kudzu has
quickly.
been known to grow is 18 inches in a day.
It's
You
unbelievable.
can actually watch it move.
Yeah.
So, by 1970, our federal government had reversed every position possible on kudzu and had now declared it a weed. Please kill it. Please stop it.
It has the weirdest smell when you burn it.
It does.
Because
It's
you just
unkillable.
no.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
It's like a leafy version of the Blob.
It is. It is green, fluffy, leafy, long vines, and it will just. You're going to be wondering where Fluffy went. It's like a horror movie. By 1997, the lovely kudzu.
It's all over the Cinemassic ass bunker.
Oh,
but it won't cover the doors to keep them in. I
no,
tried.
'cause there's some things even kudzu won't do. Yeah, it is now on the federal noxious weed list, which means, kill it with anything you can. Go
Machetes.
for it. It is now estimated to cover 7.4 million acres.
Most of it in the South.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of it in my.
There has been a recent sighting in Canada.
Yes! I mean,
Wow.
I'm sorry.
Not even the ice can stop it.
It's just, I'm like,
You can't burn it.
Wow.
You can't freeze it. You can't cut it.
I just want you. It's like this is
it's
gonna
drought resistant.
This is gonna sound bad, but
It's cold resistant.
Yep.
Canada.
It's wet resistant.
Yep.
All right, Andy may have to edit this out, but Canada. This is what happens when your prime minister does blackface.
Oh, wow. That hurt. That hurt.
I'm not allowed to do political humor when Joe's here.
I know. Wow. Let's see. How fast is it spreading? How about an extra 150,000 acres each year?
See, okay, anytime that you see like a post-apocalyptic movie or you play a video game that's a post-apocalypse and you see the plants retaking what has been, overrun by humans, and they're overtaking homes and buildings and businesses and stuff.
Yep.
This is what it is.
That's it. No, you're right.
There's
Yeah.
because you don't see oak trees growing out of an apartment building or anything like that. It's always covered in viney stuff. The viney stuff is this.
It's kudzu.
Kudzu will own the planet.
I mean, it's seriously.
Well, could you imagine if Atlanta just shut down for 1 week?
yeah.
oh God.
You wouldn't be able to find it.
No.
It's
no.
a whoop, just completely cover
See,
the
this
whole.
is why The
yeah.
Walking Dead is total crap. Not because of the zombie thing, but because Atlanta still looks like a city.
Only right there at the beginning. The last time they showed us anything in Atlanta, it's all covered in grass. It's kudzu is everywhere. But, Andy, you've seen it. The house that was down the street from me that was abandoned.
Yeah.
Completely covered. It was recently bought and cleaned up. You'd have never guessed that this house was what it is.
There's a house under there.
Right.
It's hard, if you've never been subjected to kudzu, when you're driving along, especially down a nice rural highway,
Yeah.
let's say Tennessee, Mississippi, Georgia, Alabama, and you drive by a clearing,
Anywhere
and
in
all
the-
you see is a lumpy, looks like a big green blanket laying over things.
The Appalachian foothills.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
all kudzu.
Yes.
All the way down through Alabama, all the way down. And you just and you don't realize till you drive back through like in February when it's all died back and you go, wow, those were trees and it looks like a housing project back there.
Yeah.
It's just all this, it's like completely buried. You're going to drive back by in March and you're going to see the green menace has begun and it's going to be kind of lining up. And when you drive back by about August, it's all gone. It's all under the big giant green blanket.
Yep.
So I just thought it would be, since I know it's cold right now. We just got through having, sub-freezing temperatures and all of that. But for our listeners that are not in the South, beware. This is not a cute plant. For our listeners in the South, well, you already know what's coming. It is just the most persistent thing. It just doesn't stop growing.
Well, see, given your normal science segments, I was worried that you were about to bring us like some new genetically modified type of like super kudzu that would rip through a brick or something.
No, I don't think it needs to be souped up any. I think kudzu is souped up enough all on its own. Because there really isn't anything it can't take out. This stuff will get so heavy on a fully grown tree, it will flip the tree over. That's welcome to kudzu.
No.
Gadgets,
Gizmos.
games.
Oh my.
These guys got their hands on it in the tank. Geek Tank Radio is on.
Gentlemen, nostalgia is a funny thing.
Well, yeah.
It colors your brain.
Uh-huh.
It makes you see things with rosy tinted glasses.
Oh, the good old days.
Makes you think Empire Strikes Back was well acted.
Why you got to do that to me?
Because as much as we all love those movies, there's not really very good acting.
We love the
Harrison
movie.
Ford is a treasure.
Harrison Ford is a treasure, but look at anything else Harrison Ford did, and then look at his performances in Star Wars. And as much as we love Han Solo, that was phoned in.
Oh, no.
That was so phoned in.
By the time you get to Return of the Jedi, it's totally phoned in.
By the time you get to him saving the day at the end of New Hope, it's phoned in. The only person who ever, like I said, elevated their stuff in a Star Wars movie is Adam Driver.
Very true.
All right. Anyway.
Yes.
So what are you into nostalgic-wise?
Well, okay. So
He does look a little misty. I'm just kind of waiting here.
the new Dragon Ball game came out.
Oh, okay.
It is Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. And
Gee, I wonder who that one's about.
I grew up. I don't want to say grew up, but Dragon Ball Z first started airing.
You make me feel old when you talk about you being grown up now.
Dragon Ball Z first started airing in the U.S.
You
when
make
I was.
me feel old when you say you're grown up.
Look, we're having a generational podcast today, guys. Okay.
Yes, it is.
So
I remember the very first time this cartoon aired.
well, it started airing on in America on TV when I was like maybe 12 years old, I think.
I was a little older than that.
So my very formative teenage years were spent
Having an energy level.
coming home from school and watching Dragon Ball
Trying to grow a
every
furry tail.
afternoon, trying to grow a tail, screaming my lungs out.
Pissed off that he couldn't, climb up on a cloud and fly around.
No.
And this game,
However, I did have a crazy old instructor that wore Hawaiian shirts a lot.
Yeah, but he was stoned.
yeah, but was he
Yeah, he
also
was.
a massive pervert?
Well, we won't get into that. There was no internet.
That's a different
back
segment.
then. There was no internet back then, but
So, but yeah, my teenage years were spent coming home from school and watching Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
And this game does an incredible job. This is probably the most faithful recreation of the full story of Dragon Ball Z that has ever been made.
horrible animation, funny sounds, and sensu beans. There we go.
Yeah, pretty much.
Lots of adult humor that children
Lots
didn't get.
of-
Yeah, lots
laughed
of adult
anyway.
humor that we did not
All right,
understand.
Dragon Ball Z harkened back to the days of Rocky and Bullwinkle. When there were comments made, as a little kid, you just thought they were being funny. And when you watch this cartoon as a grown-up, you go, we let children watch this? So, yeah, Dragon Ball Z had a lot of
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
thinly,
Well, I mean,
thinly veiled.
well, there was a lot of stuff in the
Innuendo.
90s that was like that. For God's sake, go back and watch Rocco's Modern Life.
I did.
He worked for a sex. He worked for a sex hotline.
Yeah, he worked for a sex hotline.
Yeah,
Like, come
he
on.
did.
But Dragon Ball was also kind of the Dragon Ball was like the vanguard of ushering in anime to the mainstream American audience.
Right. I mean, you know, you're nerds out there, which, you know, many of us were included in it. We knew things like Akira, and we knew that, you know, Robotech was really Macross and all that jazz. But Dragon Ball is what really hammered it home for a lot of people. Dragon Ball and Sailor Moon.
Dragon Ball and Sailor Moon were
another very pervy show.
Yes. But yeah, Dragon Ball and Sailor Moon ushered in Japanese anime to the American mainstream, right? I mean, for God's sake, Goku has been in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade for a few years now.
I say more than just a few. He's been around for a while, yeah.
But that's not, I mean, there's no other anime character that's in the Macy's parade as far as I'm aware.
Pika.
Oh yeah, Pikachu.
And I say,
Pokemon doesn't count. Pokemon,
Hey, 25 years without a lull. Dragon Ball can't say that.
Pokemon doesn't count.
That'd be an interesting fight,
Pokemon is
man.
its own entity. That's not, and also the anime came after the video game, so technically,
well, and the video, you know, yeah, I mean, video games, card games, weird collectibles, amazing metal things that you can throw at people. It's great.
yes.
Nerds who don't know how to look up from their phones in their cars running you over. It's awesome.
Don't play Pokemon Go on the road.
Have
Unless
a
Alan's
designated Poke driver.
Yes, have a designated Poke driver. But this game, like I said, it is the most faithful recreation of the story, and that's where it shines brightest, is in the fact that it is 100% faithful to its source material, both in the manga and in the anime.
Cool.
From the original Dragon Ball series. So it starts as you're playing, like, from the beginning of playing, like, the first saga of Dragon Ball Z. Yeah. Goku is an adult, Gohan is 5.
Yeah.
Right? But as you play the game, you will encounter characters and find, like, little memory spots and stuff where you can see parts of the story and interact with characters that were in the original Dragon Ball series. So it's not, you're playing Dragon Ball Z, but you're getting the full breadth of the story.
So let me ask you.
Okay.
Are there, like, you know, when it's like, let's say that, you know, you get a patch, an update.
Yeah.
Do they just make you go into charge mode for the 4 days it takes to download the update?
No. That would be, like, if you want to talk about some serious nostalgia, that would be there.
Yeah.
Because I remember being a kid and watching the Frieza saga.
It's like,
and
why is he still charging? He started charging on Monday. It's Thursday. What?
This is the amazing part to me. It literally took I think that
was a hell of a spirit bomb.
From the point when Frieza destroys Planet Namek, like, throws the
for those of you listening
attack
at home, Andy just did air quotes.
Does the attack that is going to eventually destroy Planet Namek, and he tells Goku, "We have 5 minutes before this planet is destroyed." And to the time when Planet Namek actually blows up, I'm pretty sure it was at minimum 25 episodes. It's supposed to be 5 minutes of time, 25 episodes. So there is no such thing as an actual time frame when it comes to Dragon Ball. But the game...
time is relative.
Yeah, time is relative. The game does its greatest strength in recreating the story.
Yeah.
And in letting you feel that. Now, there are points where you skip over some stuff that I wish was in there. So, for example, last night, I'm still in the Saiyan saga, but last night I was playing when Goku is supposed to be running along Snake Way to get to King Kai so that he can train. And during that time in the show, Gohan is on Earth, like, training under Piccolo.
Right.
Now, most of the time in the game for this time frame, you're playing as Gohan or Piccolo and, you know, doing that training while Goku's supposed to be running along Snake Way. But there's really funny stuff that happens when Goku's on Snake Way.
That's true.
He runs into the Serpent Queen and almost gets consumed. He falls into hell at one point and has to escape. Like, I didn't get to play any of that stuff. I went from Goku's at King Yama's place to Gohan does some training stuff, and then when I got back to Goku, he's at the end of Snake Way and jumps up to King Kai's planet. I'm like, I wanted to see the Snake Queen! Come on!
Well, they may be saving her for later.
Yeah, dude, come on, DLC.
And then on King Kai's planet, you don't do any of the training stuff. I was like, oh, I'll get to chase Bubbles around the planet and stuff. No. They skipped that too.
And by the way, for those of you who don't know, Bubbles is a monkey.
Bubbles the monkey.
He's not chasing Lawrence Welk. He's chasing Bubbles, the monkey.
But I didn't get to do any of that stuff. Like Goku's just, now I can do a spirit bomb.
I'll be honest, and it may be the sleep deprivation, but as soon as he said something about chasing Bubbles, I just saw Andy himself running after the monkey. And I'll be honest, I'm kind of down for doing a YouTube video of that.
For anybody who's ever had to catch a monkey, and I am
It's
not
not
going
easy.
into the story. It is not easy. I got to tell you.
Anyway,
We digress.
now there's a couple of things. Like the game's not perfect. Okay,
Well,
the combat is pretty repetitive.
Yeah.
Like
Do you remember the show accurately?
yes,
So was the combat there.
May 4 days later.
I'm just saying.
So you're getting the true experience.
Well, okay, for a video game, you want your combat to be a little bit more engaging.
Yeah.
This one's just mash the circle button.
Yeah.
Like you don't really you have special moves that you can do, and there's a little bit more complexity to the fighting sequences and stuff. But honestly, for most of the things that you fight in this game, which you will fight stuff a lot because there's enemies everywhere, you will be mashing the circle button. That's the other downside of this game. It's this massive open world, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's huge, okay? And it's got a ton of stuff to explore. You want to be able to find those memory spots where you can see, like, oh, this happened here in the original series or whatever. You want to be able to, interact with, the side quest characters and things like that. Like you run into Baba or you run into Master Roshi or you run into... Last night I ran into the announcer from the World Tournament who just gave me an item because I saw him. Like... that kind of stuff. However, it's really difficult to do that because every 5 feet there's another robot from the Red Ribbon Army who you have to fight.
Okay, so
And
it
you
is just
can't-
like the show.
And you can't clear the area. It's not like you can fly around, fight all the robots, and then the area is clear and free for you to explore because they keep respawning.
Right.
And you're going, why did you make this world so massive and huge and wonderfully inviting to explore? Because that's something that we've always wanted to do as fans of the series. Like, I really want to see what this world looks like. It's a really engaging and interesting world. It has this incredibly advanced technology of being able to pack whole entire homes and vehicles into a capsule.
Mm-hmm.
But it also still has dinosaurs.
Yes.
This is awesome. Why can't I explore this
Well, maybe that'll be your upgrades.
freely?
That'll be your upgrades.
So, for the most part, the game is very, very fun. It's very engaging. It hits you in the nostalgia button like nobody's business. But the most important thing about this video game that I have found so far is that there is absolutely no excuse now that we have this game as to why we don't have a good Superman game.
Their superpower is knowing everything in the Geek universe. Geek Tank Radio is on.
All right. Y'all remember Moore's Law?
I know Morse code.
And that's,
I don't know.
That's Morse code.
Moore's Law.
I know Murphy's Law.
Well, we all know Murphy way too well. Moore is actually a relative of his, I'm pretty certain.
Okay.
Because Moore's Law had to do with pretty much the early days of computing and computing power.
Okay.
Because so much research was going into it and so many companies were competing that basically our capabilities with computers were doubling every 2 years. With the price pretty much either coming down or remaining the same.
So it's the like original, one of the first like couple of megabyte storage units was the size of like a room. And now
Right, and now it's the size of your iPhone.
Yeah, well, no, now you can get like a couple of gigs on a flash drive or
A couple of gigs.
Even-
You can
even
get
better. A couple gigs on a
128
chip.
gigs on a micro
Hey.
SD chip.
Yeah.
I picked up a 64 gig flash drive at Walmart for $6 yesterday, and it's not on sale.
yeah.
And it's an O&N. So, I mean,
Yeah, well, let's talk about Moore's Law, and let's talk about our old friend AI. Or I should say our new friend.
Oh, good.
Or our new overlord. According to Stanford University, AI is not even anywhere clear. Is totally above Moore's law. In the last couple of years, the whole AI type technology is more than doubling. It's 3 times, 4 times, 5 times the capability of just 18 months ago. So AI, as we have talked, is now begun to slither in everywhere.
Well, yes, and let's move for a minute. Allie brought this up, and I feel kind of bad discussing this without her, but
It's too important not to talk about, man.
It's true. Now, Alan, you've heard about the facial recognition app that's being put out for law enforcement.
Yeah.
Basically, they can take any picture of you, put it through the app. It shows who you are, where you live, all priors, whatnot, everything you need to know. Probably at this point, the way our Google searches or our Google searches for us, it'll probably tell you, all right, he's probably in the bathroom because he's posted a lot of memes. Well, the thing about this is that right now it's available strictly to law enforcement through a service to them. But people can't keep their mouths shut.
Well, so it's basically designed for so you're able to identify a person from security cam footage.
Right. It's like, or if someone snaps a cell phone picture of someone who's in the midst of a crime, they can run that picture through the app and be able to find the perpetrator. Which
I'm just seeing social media being law enforcement's best friend.
Well,
it kinda already is.
They already do nowadays anyway. I mean, we did a random sometime last year. I want to say it was probably in August. So you guys check our archives. But a guy, it was basically texting or messaging back and forth with the police department, who was trying to get him to negotiate his
trying to get him
surrender.
to turn himself in. Yeah,
they were doing it through Facebook Messenger because it was the only way they knew they could get a hold of him. So.
I'm just thinking of all of these challenges. Like, what did you look like 10 years ago?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Apparently, you look like this serial killer we were looking for in Montana.
Well, and we'll know what you look like. Well, we know what you look like 10 years ago. We know what you look like now. We know what you're going to look like in 10 years.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like the aging up app,
that face app,
Snapchat, or
I'm just kind of looking at this, going, all right. So AI is now in all the traffic cams. Yeah. It's now going to be available on social medias.
AI, it's not just for firing your friends anymore.
Oh, it's we're taking over, movie companies or predicting radio shows.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, okay, so here's the deal with this facial recognition app or whatever. As we all know, there's almost no technology that becomes available to
private,
or
for
a public entity that does not become private.
Use.
Right.
Yeah. There's almost no technology that's available for you're right, a public entity that does not eventually hit the private sector.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So
because the private sector developed it.
Right.
The public sector paid for it. And in 5 years, it's going to be a game.
But they're going to recoup their
Yeah.
So the danger of this, to me, is astronomical, right? First of all, we've all seen you on Netflix.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
This app, this facial recognition app, basically does Joe's job for him.
Yeah.
Not our Joe.
Right. Joe on you.
Joe on you. Right.
It is a stalker's best friend.
It is. Yes. This app is a stalker's wet dream. Because all you have to do is she's pretty. Click. Now I know her name, where she lives, what she does for work, who her friends are.
And nobody's going to realize you're taking a picture of someone right there because we're all so face deep in our phones.
Right. Or, here's an even better one that I thought of the other day. You see all the time, especially on college campuses now, that there are... Obviously, every college has its version of the college Democrats and the college Republicans, right? Well, every single one of them, and I saw a video of this the other day, it happened to be a college Republicans group, but they were just trying to set up their table on the lawn, right?
Right.
And there was this mass of people who were overturning their table, taking their stuff, throwing it off the table, chunking it out in the crowd, tearing it up. And these people weren't doing anything. They were just trying to set their table up.
Yeah,
right?
I'll admit, I've done that to other, promo tables that have tried to sit up next to Geek Tank.
This is true. But to
But
me,
you posted those selfies.
Well, it's true. And in all honesty, the group that I threw off onto the floor was another group I worked for. So,
Oh, well, there you go.
but what I'm getting at is, okay, so you got a couple people in the crowd who, have a disagreement with this group or whatever, and they're trying to prevent them from setting their stuff up. I mean, they're being assholes, but whatever.
Right.
Right? But what if somebody in that crowd decides, you know what? These people are genuinely evil, and they don't need to be allowed to continue to do this. They snap a picture. Now they know where these people live. Now they know who and what they are, where they go to class.
This kind of stuff. I mean, we've already got enough problems with swatting and doxing as it is.
Yes.
Now this app will basically, set it up where, those people who are not exactly hinged, they're a little unhinged. These are the people who are going to take a picture of, say, we all know how Andy feels about, a lot of the stuff going on in the comics world right now.
Yes.
Well, let's say that one of these, less than, sane individuals.
I will see where you're going,
Yeah.
and I will say two words: soccer hooligans.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, they
How would
yeah.
you like to be the poor SOB that missed that kick? And you now have 40,000 people in the stadium that all know exactly what you look like.
Oh,
Well,
no,
yeah,
no.
but where the hooligans are going to track you down and kick your ass, kid in his mom's basement is going to put Andy's information out in a different way.
Yeah.
He's going to call somebody. He's going to report a possible hostage situation, and somebody's going to come kicking in the door.
They're already doing that, playing games.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
But now think about
it
it.
can happen when you're not, like, somebody could do that when I'm chilling in my apartment watching a movie or making myself dinner, or do it when my daughter is with me.
Yeah.
Well, what we're going to have to, and I can already hear Allie right now, we do not live in a Star Trek world.
Well, if she watched Picard, she'll realize Star Trek doesn't live in the Star Trek world anymore anyway.
Either.
Check out that review next season.
Yeah. Guys, I'm gonna flip back to Moore's Law and say AI is expanding at an exponential rate.
Skynet.
And we are going to have, as they love to call it, unintended consequences.
Geek Tank Radio is on.
Okay, guys, it's time for randoms. And I'm sorry, Andy, you have what has to be one of the best stories.
I love this story.
But I don't know if it's a story we can really end on, so let's start with it.
Okay, so there's this guy in Detroit who he sued his employer for racial discrimination. He's an African-American man. He sued his employer for racial discrimination. They settled, right? He took the settlement check to his bank to deposit it into his bank account.
Right.
Right? The bank refused to cash or deposit the check, and instead they called the cops for a fraud investigation.
Wow. Okay.
This guy's got to have a major windfall coming because karma's being a real bitch.
So,
wow.
He has now sued the bank for racial discrimination, which has not been settled yet.
Yeah.
But presumably, homie about to get paid.
Oh, yeah.
Because
really, 2 in a row?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care who you are. Don't care what you look like. I'm thinking most of the banks I deal with, you walk in with El Cheque Grande,
yeah,
you are going to get welcomed.
yeah,
Yeah.
You are going to get welcomed. You're probably going to get a cookie and a free soda. You might walk out with a toaster.
Yeah. What's going on in
This did
Detroit?
not happen anywhere near my neighborhood.
Do they still do that? Do banks still give out appliances, Alan? I remember
You walk in with the right size check, I will send somebody to go get you a toaster.
That was always something when I was a kid,
Oh
you'd
yeah, like
see this.
you open a checking account, we'll give you a toaster.
You
Like,
get a toaster
yeah.
or a blender or a microwave, and it's like, huh. I was like all excited one day to be able to open a checking account so I could get that little portable TV. By the time I opened a checking account,
didn't happen.
No. All they had in the lobby was popcorn.
They gave me was free checking.
Yeah.
So
back then when you got the toaster, checking was not free.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of not free,
Right.
All right. Well, I'm going to pick on David Tennant for just a minute. How did he wind up in a random?
Best doctor.
Well, yes. He also has a new show that he is voicing over called Spy in the Wild.
Okay.
And what Spy in the Wild does is they take like a fake rock and put cameras in it.
They take snapshots from the rock.
Oh, it's like a nature show.
And then
I don't know
sneak
why
up
I was
on the
thinking of for some
Wild.
reason David Tennant just to be chilling in the woods, watching stuff and talking about it like he's the new
he's
Steve
talking
Irwin.
about
like it's his own version of The World According to Jeff Goldblum. Nature According to David Tennant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind.
I'd watch that.
I would too.
This is David taking a walk.
Yeah.
There we go. We'll go with you, David.
He's talking to trees and squirrels.
He's voicing this over.
Okay.
And they do stuff like, all the usual nature show stuff, like we're going to go, hide a big rock next to the gorillas and see what they do while they're having lunch. Or we're going to put a fake koala in a tree with a camera in it and see what the other koalas do.
So Tennant's going to be the new David Attenborough.
Well, Sir David is doing his thing, and now Mr. Tennant may ease up in there just a little bit. However, the show went to the island of Komodo recently.
Okay.
And they wanted to get their little cameras
for the
right
dragons?
up in there. Oh, yeah. Well, if you're going to go to Komodo, what else are you going to film?
Okay.
So it's Komodo dragons. So what they did was they set up a fake pig to kind of get people to come up to it.
Okay.
Get the little dragons interested. But to really get the dragon eye perspective, they made a fake Komodo dragon, which apparently looked female.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Well, here came a couple of big boys and got really, really, really upset that she would neither respond nor run away or fight or whatever it is that they do.
Gene Loring could take care of that for them.
Well,
please don't.
And then he said, well, because their model did not respond, they took out their frustrations on the fake pig.
Oh, no.
And totally wrecked all their cameras.
This reminds me of the two frat dudes who were trying to hit on the one girl, and she didn't have anything to do with it. So they go over and just destroy half of the bar.
Well, congratulations. It was a bad day to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
But sometimes...
Why am I also picturing, for some reason, like this? Obviously, this makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. But I'm picturing that thing from Ace Ventura when Ace is in the rhino.
Because that's exactly...
Except with David Tennant crawling out of a Komodo dragon. It makes no sense.
No, dude, it completely makes sense.
You two are way too sleep deprived. That's all I got to say. Wow.
So, you talked about sometimes you're just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Sometimes you're in the wrong place at the right time, though.
No.
And I'm going to take you to Russia.
We've been there before.
We've been there a time or two. Now, Russia is said to be the place where bears roam the streets. But that's not all.
Said.
That's not all. Residents of Yekaterinburg were flabbergasted to see a couple of elephants wandering the snowy streets of Russia's third largest city after they escaped from a circus.
I'm not recalling those being native to...
Ooh, not native at all.
Who did it? What now?
Elephants.
Elephants. Earlier today, the reports came in of elephants roaming the streets of Yekaterinburg. They escaped.
Not something you see every day?
unreceptive to attempts to bring her back, one of the female elephants crossed a busy street and headed to a residential building to roll and cavort in the snow.
Oh,
On Thursday. One man who tried to stop her by holding onto her trunk was pushed across the street, his feet sliding across the ice.
Whoa.
The local circus said the two elephants, Carla and Rainey, belonged to an Italian company that ran a show during the New Year holidays. When its troop tried to load the animals into the truck, on Thursday, they nah, and just walked away.
They wanted to go play.
Yeah. The circus said that Rainey loitered near the loading point, but the more adventurous Carla decided to make a tour of the city.
She hadn't been there before.
Right.
She wanted to check out the sights.
Yeah. Handlers finally got a rope around one of her front legs, but it took over a dozen people to pull her back.
Oh.
She finally, after tiring of the snow, she's like, "All right, I'm ready."
I just have this image like your dog when you let them out and they like dive and roll in the snow and roll over.
And then they're like, "Okay, I'm ready to come in."
I just
and take
have
a nap.
this image of this elephant like diving in this field and like rolling over and wiggling back and forth, being all gargantuanly cute.
Yeah. That would be adorable. At the same time, I'm hoping my car's not near there.
Terrifying, yes.
Yeah. So she eventually, went back to the loading area and everything was cool. And they didn't seem to do a whole lot of damage or anything. So people are chill with it. The circus commented with the elephants wanted to go get some new experiences before a long journey, and they got them.
Awesome.
And I mean, it's just like I'm sitting there going, I want to play in the snow with the elephants, and then I think I don't want to play in the snow with the elephants.
No.
I wouldn't mind being like uphill and taking a picture of it.
Right. I'll sit on top of the apartment building across the way and videotape it.
I don't want it becoming a lap dog.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm having a George of the Jungle and Spot moment.
Yeah. That could be painful.
That could be a serious problem.
Oh. Anyways, guys, I think that does it for us for this season. We brought you what we had, and a big shout out to our fallen comrades. For whatever kept them away.
Well, I think they're frolicking with those elephants.
They're all pretty small.
Well, I didn't say it was going to go well for them.
I was about to say that we might need to go get them.
That's true.
Anyway, until next season.
I'm Alan Gilbreth.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Brandon, reminding you to check in with us next season when not only will we, do a review of Picard, but we'll also teach Alan how to do TikTok.
Oh, I like Tic Tacs.